What happens when people don't have food or water for 4 days? What happens? Oh, more than that. No food or water, they're going to kill you to take your Twinkies. Okay, so society breaks down, especially in the United States or Western world. In Japan, we watched something that was good training for us. In Japan, we saw, they were very nice, they stood in line, they passed the food when it came. But that's not going to happen in Western world. They will take it. They were very organized in Japan. But if you notice, in 4 days of Fukushima, that water just creeped in. You can find that on YouTube. Just in seconds, it slowly came in and inundated everything, took it away. You will find that in 4 days in Fukushima, you can see that all the hospitals in that area were turned into morgues. So who's going to help you? They had to turn to the whole world. But what if the whole world is going through the same situation? Now, right now, you're not aware of it, but there are 28 active volcanoes in the red right now. Red or caution. Red, that they're going off, they're steaming, they're venting. And there's more that keep coming up underneath the water line. They keep saying, well, this methane gas bubbles. It's from underwater volcanoes, hundreds at a time that just came up. Why are ships running into areas that the ground was different underneath before from their maps? Because it's changing that rapidly, that quickly. Off the coast of Russia, Siberia, they had that volcano going off and they said it was an oil spill. No, those underwater volcanoes are going on. So just not what you see, but with ash in the air, what happens is it darkens the entire sky wherever it's going. So if you're along the equator, it tends to dissipate a little faster because you're on the new equator, not the old, but the new equator line, okay? It'll dissipate faster. But what about those places where they have volcanic ash, which will create darkness? How are you going to grow food? Plus, remember the radiation that you're going through, your ground soil and water won't be present or safe for you to take. It'll be going different directions because it's now moved. They now know, scientists now know, even in the continent of Africa, that the Nile, that the Egyptians talked about, they talked about Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt, and the Nile. The Nile in the continent goes in this direction, from the north to the south now. They just found that it used to go this way. Doesn't that make more sense? Upper and Lower Egypt? Upper, lower. You just go this way. So all your water tributaries will change. And then the content of the water filled with ash, all the stuff that comes out because all the chemicals that come from the bowels of the earth through the volcanoes. So you still have to be in safety. The only safety you're going to find is proper community underground. That's it. And you may have to remain there as she's going through her slow changes again, 6 months to a year to 2. And you have to be prepared for that. You will not exist in a situation where there's just you and family and friends. What happens if you get sick from something? What happens if you run out of fuel, food? So a community no less than 100 must be created. And that is why I'm here trying to let you know this. So this is what I saw. Again, I keep asking the universe, prove it. You know, I'm that skeptic. Prove it, prove it, prove it. So I was asked to do a talk at Mount Shasta, which is very high energy vortex location in California. But this is interesting. It was the time of the Grand Pleiadian eclipse, May 20th, 2011. Grand Pleiadian eclipse. Only happens once every 26,000 years in that alignment. Group of 200, I did a workshop there at that time. But at the time when we were supposed to view it, all 200 of us are out on the lawn at the golf course, and we're all, oh, wow, and we had the little glasses. I heard the guides, that guidance, that spiritual guidance I get, they said, Antonia, take your cell phone and take a picture. So I didn't look up, I just clicked, then clicked, clicked again. And I want to show you, because this planet is what I saw. You see that little spot right there? Yeah. Well, see, this is the sun, and the moon is coming in front of it, but you can't see it because it's so bright, it's so giant. But I thought, what is this? No, that's not lens flare. That sphere is not lens flare. Okay, but it was eerie because it was a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, this event. And I wondered the day before why I saw Army take chemtrails right on the top of Mount Shasta, 4 of them. And I thought, what are they trying to occlude, hide from us? And then they moved to the other side the next morning of the eclipse, but it was unseasonably warm that day. And the eclipse was only seen in a couple of places, a tip of California, of the Mount Shasta, and Japan, and that area that I talked about that they told me was the North Pole. That's all the 3 places you could see it, the only places. So I thought that was interesting. So I looked, and I clicked another one, and this is during the time of the process of the moon still covering. Now notice the moon is also covering that planet because the alignment that we see with the sun. So you can see it half there, but still red. That is the red Kachina that the Hopi Indian tribe talks about, because this planet is surrounded by red dust. This planet is in our solar system. it literally was given in the CNN, some little piece or blurb in CNN on the news. I had the video, I saw it, but it was taken away. It was on the news for just one time on CNN last summer, and then they stopped talking about it.
You to vote on the news, and here's the winner. There's a huge, hidden, heavenly body right here in our solar system. Evidence is mounting that either a brown dwarf star or a gas giant planet is lurking at the outermost reaches of our solar system, far beyond the planet Pluto. According to the British newspaper The Independent, the object is 4 times the size of Jupiter. Experts say the presence of such a massive object could explain why a barrage of comets has been coming from that direction. We'll post.
That planet is 5 to 6 times the size of Earth. It always comes through our orbital path, or our, how can I say it, orbit in our planetary structure. It always comes by us every 3,600 years, like clockwork, that large planet. But it's larger than us, so its magnetic shield is stronger, especially now, than our own. So it automatically passes through an elliptical, and it will go underneath. This is so, when I got this and saw this, what it was, I started to research more. Asked to be guided always, be discerning. And I found that that planet was discovered in 1960. It is called Nibiru, Planet X, Hercolubus, the dark star, the brown dwarf star. It has several names. Wormwood. It's even listed and talked about it in the Bible because some theologian or some scholar at that time wanted to have it in there for a reason. It's very large, very strong magnetism. So it absolutely comes past our Earth, will not impact us, but it goes right under our South Pole. Its North Pole does. So what happens in 7th grade when you put 2 magnets together? Yeah, they attract, and so it's going to help, it'll pull it up, which is exactly what she does to help her turn in bed. That's how she turns over. Amazing, isn't it? Happens every 3,600 years like clockwork. And throughout history, you can see that we have a cataclysm on the Earth every 3,600 years. Every 3,600. It's a shame, but why aren't we taught this and told this so we could prepare? Why aren't there civil defense places and things like that so we know where to go? This is why I'm here for you today. Now, what I've been doing was going out and mentioning it to people to take their cell phone, because some are bad cameras, some are good, and just don't look, because it's too bright now to look, but just click and see if you see a body around. It won't be lens flare. Some cameras are better than others, and some are not. But you'll find, in one a person that I know took it in the morning and then in the evening, because the sun's in a different location, and so was the planet. So you can see this. So this is exactly some of the events. Now, you've heard a symphony of different things that are happening. There's not just one thing that's happening. We have a symphony of things. The galactic center, we have this time of her normal change in her growth. God bless you. And literally, how can I say it? You have this another planetary body that comes through and kicks off everything. And this is in a matter of months. This is in a matter of months. That's why you see this escalation and all these things on the Earth through nature that I've been showing you, and all the, like I said, changes in climate and the experiences we've had to deal with. But I will pinpoint when you can, this is the whole point of to help you to pinpoint when and where and how to do these things. Now, I have to discuss this, and I'm not one of those fanatic people, but I'm going to discuss the alien presence, okay? Now, as kids, you know, you see stuff out there, you know it's going to, how can I say it, anytime, they're all over the world. The United States is the only country that hasn't disclosed that we know that they're around. Britain did 2-3 years ago. Mexico did. Every country said, yes, we have a blue book and we're sorry. We apologize to those people, but they exist. And unfortunately, or fortunately, I've had the close encounters of the 5th kind. Didn't plan on that either. That's for another seminar. But what happens basically is this presence is strong. This crop circle was done in 2009. That is representing the Mayan calendar. You can see the feathered headdress of what they call Kukulkan, the man that came down with white skin, long hair, that showed them and taught them all these things, the ancient Mayans. And he's supposed to return at this time. But if you look at it, pinpoints those glyphs around at the bottom are actually pinpointing part of the calendar itself and the feathered headdress. But if you notice again, as I looked at this today, That's also that center again, they're pinpointing the galactic center. Now, these weren't made by two drunk men with a board and string. They're made in a matter of seconds, okay? And there's a season for them. They're usually from May through October, and the highest concentration is in England. And there would be a reason. Maybe it's a good funnel, a good tunnel, a good road for them to come in based on where they're coming from throughout the cosmos during that period of time. They're all over the world, but the highest quality and the largest quantity of them is in England. Now, you know we can't do that. They're a matter of seconds that these are done. Okay. This is, again, another one that was done, I think, 2010, and that's a definite Mayan calendar. And if you notice a little twist here, I think it's kind of interesting. Because it sees there's a galactic center in that we're going to change on our rotation. And I believe it even marks the date when we're going through the quarter, December 21st. But that's actually the Mayan calendar. And they've actually studied and seen this and what those glyphs mean. Okay. Now, this is beautiful too. This was 2009. Doesn't it look like, okay, they're going to tell us this is how we're going to travel. And you're going to go through this center, you're going to come out different, you know? So whether we're reading it cryptically, you can just look and know and perceive what they're trying to show us. All done in a matter of minutes. This is unreal because I didn't realize I had a mirror just like that I'd purchased several years before this one was here. This was 2010. And this is the flower of life. This is the DNA code and the shape and the actual look of how every single thing is formed and made throughout the cosmos and the earth. This symbol is extremely important. Even looking at it affects you on a soul level, not the human level, but the soul level. It is the flower of life, or sacred geometry we talk about. Taking in the Fibonacci sequences, it's repeated over. It's the shape of ovals and ovals and ovals, like petal, inner line with petal, inner line with petal. And showing we're evolving, we're getting ready to grow, so we'll understand these things. This is just a few, as you can see, just a few that are all over the world, and there's some, like I said, that are quite interesting. I remember in the 70s, they used to just have 3 little circles because they know we were kind of slow. And then we progressed. It's for us. They're drawing, you know, coloring in the picture for us. But because we are low evolutionary level, we're at level 3. Humans on the earth are level 3 at this point. There are beings throughout the greater cosmos that God created that are level 12, spiritually, mentally, technologically, emotionally. So I liken it to kind of like we're like purse dogs. We're cute and trainable, you know. But, you know, that's the level. We have a lot to go. So anybody that says they know it all doesn't. Because there's beings that are level 12 out there. Even Jesus, Krishna, Buddha, Muhammad, Moses, they're still working on stuff. We're nowhere close. So keep working on your soul growth, awareness, and understanding, as well as your awareness consciously, your conscious growth to get through all this. But, you know, this is not done by 2 men in a bar.